lawyer Bochu, Pama Sanjatanji, correcting my letter, Tartu Sonji, Gomochi, Toby Chedu, Doggy Laminanger, last of us, Tommy Chet on the Turkey door, Joe Yambi, going on top of my own shares.
So, in the beginning, you try to transform your mind in a very positive way by generating bodhicitta that want to benefit all apparently sentient beings and liberate them from the suffering of samsara and lead them to complete enlightenment. And for that reason, then one wants to carry through the Guru Yoga practice and so forth, all rest of the practices. So all the time one try to work hard with one's mind, not to give rise to all these afflictive emotions or the defilement and also the conceptual thought, and then try to concentrate one's mind into these supplication prayers, and in that way, if one do the practice properly, then of course there is the benefit and one could have certain result. So, with the one's body, speech, mind, and the consciousness that been completely dedicated and concentrated from core of one's heart, and then in that way carry through the Guru Yoga practice and the supplication prayer to the Guru.
So, Lama Chudchurva, Tundu Sovachimu, Pema Samba, Delia Sorati, Dani, Sena, Lama Yedam Kando Chishon, Tantichi, Tinle Chiti Dani Chires.
So the Supreme of the Guru is, as you know, the great Guru Padmasambhava, that who is the contents of all the Buddhas and the deity, and to that as we carry through the supplication prayer, then one could accomplish and receive all the blessings of the gurus and meditational deity, dakinis and protectors, and actualize with all the activities.
Sabchi, Teshan, Jatsa, Tenten, Tongsa, you read, then I'll tell you, oh, Savasan, Tonchi. So
that within this we have all these profound treasure revelations that all everything is just in relation with the practice of the three root deities, and the 108 main treasury pillars and thousands of minor treasury pillars, and whatsoever profound the great perfection teachings were revealed out, everything is condensed in Guru Padmasambhava.
Yala Sherim, Zorim, what the man watch call, Tonti Gurum, but the teacher the little Sunjaba.
And within those, there are the generation stage practice and completion stage practice, and then the instructions. Everything is the manifestation of Guru Padmasambhava's enlightened mind. So, with the one's core of heart and single-pointed devotion, one just do the supplication prayer to Guru Padmasambhava. So one should be always very stable in this practice, and one should not be like a child, small child. When they saw a flower, and then they say, "Oh, this is so beautiful," and then when they saw another one, then through that earlier one, and then just pick up the next one, and in that way, just kind of making that kind of choice will not benefit.
Sakyaran Dunimi, Shivasing at yours, Kosakan Tuntra, Kotan Yediers, the Netemo, Dam, the Niki, the Shiva Sagar, this Temotic Shidon, the Shiva the Sulanle, Shiva Gures and Duyers, Sulanle, Kuture, Koronjo on the Kanabat left, the name only lonely, or Shiva Gandon. Then they said, the Shiva goes at you, you know, some team, because I do name so much judo is a Koyalund.
So, like in Tibet, there is a animal called, I think it is a groundhog, that where they live underground, maybe like, in group, maybe about 9. And then the bear, just not bear, kind of the sloth, some say sloth or kind of, big sloth, that animal then, just dig that hole. And then when, one get one and then, hit a blow and then just put under the butt. And then when another comes, hit a blow, and then again one just lift up the butt and put another one, then another is just gone. And in that way, just keep doing. And then at the end, left is just only one.
What tradition? Dig it all, and dig it all, some of the damage.
So similar like that, if oneself become unstable, that thinking maybe this is better than this and this is better than this, then at the end maybe one end up with nothing. So that is why it is always very important to be more stable in one's practice and more determined. Other than that, whatever one hear or whatever one people say, if just keep listening in that, then one cannot just accomplish anything. So all this Dharma, of course, in the beginning, something which one doesn't know, one have to just, listen to teachings and one have to understand. And then whatever one could understand in relation with the Dharma teaching, then one try to contemplate on those meaning. And then even just have some contemplation on the meaning is not enough. So that is why one really have to carry through the practice. So as it is said, the knowable phenomena is like the stars in the sky. So that how much vast it is, that been taught by the Buddha. So there is no way one can just kind of know everything in that way. So like this Dharma teaching, according to Sutrayana, 84,000 just Dharma teachings, and then according to the Ati Yoga Great Perfection, 6,400,000 verses. So in somehow we cannot be able to really understand everything of those. One that entrance of the Dharma, the gate itself has a complete path to be liberated. But however, if we mainly concentrate in one Dharma and continue with that practice, then one can also understand many other Dharmas and one can actualize with the ultimate accomplishment, because the Dharma's essence, meaning is just one.
Hindu Mombo Jena, Hindu Santisatu Maris, and a Hindu Tidis.
So, of course, when we have a whole bunch of fruits there, or maybe we could not really eat all, at least even if we eat one, that also get benefit.
What the nation, that Mugu trouble gone, this on the nation, then there are also the lazy, ceremonies of the lazy did on the Marie in the top. They did Toba Dene, they're only Jella Toba, they compare young Jews.
So, in this way, with the single-pointed mind, as one do the supplication prayer, and with the one's bodies with mind together, and then through this practice, somehow that which helps to purify one's obscurations and negativities and afflictive emotion, and then slowly one can give rise to all these experiences and realizations and so forth.
Then, Xiong Orang la Yene Yebi Namchen Yehit, Seconda Seni Dance, Rangilla Yene Yebat, what can you take this?
So, mainly that in that the enlightened mind of the enlightened beings, that which is within ourselves as a primordial nature, and that which we need to just realize. So based on that nature, if we carry through the practice of the generation stage and completion stage, then that the power or the nature or the quality then it started just arising.
No change, some wrong now.
Even that a little bit of the enlightened quality as our primordial nature, one could give rise to it, then of course one can naturally know much more deeper and detailed meanings of Dharma. Like in the past, almost all the great Dzogchen masters, that there is not much of those who just study and become very great scholar, but mostly as they continue with their practice, and through that they have the realization and then become a great scholar and a realized master.
When the Penor Rinpoche come to Chambi Popeye, Tanti Jenny, then the Tanti Jelly, Sheston, the commission, the Penor Rinpoche, Kerachemboshores.
Like Penor Rinpoche, that mostly he carried through all those practices, somehow just having some sense of realization, and then he started giving all this teaching, and through which in the eastern part of Tibet he became very famous.
This Sunday Garson Garden Tribasi, Coron Sunday Garson, that talking about the Garden Tribasi, Kugers.
So then in the central Tibet, that Sara Kanden and Debung, among them, that the highest or the chief master, who is going to be the throne holder of the Gelugpa or the Kanden.
Garden Tribat, then Low Mombo, Yune, then the Garden Tribat, Yane, come to my chances.
So this Kanden Triba, who is the throne holder of the Gelugpa, the Kanden tradition, that being as a throne holder for a while, and then later he left to eastern Tibet come.
I send the Gasson so good get them by the normal, yet they take on Masakis, the Tarian or Chamber is.
So then, of course, he is the most greatest learned and the very good scholar, and because of that he is famous in that way. Then this Kanden Tiba, that Kanden throne holder, he thought, just it seems like Palyul Rinpoche is very famous, so maybe I want to just check with him and may ask some questions. So then, according to that, the Kanden throne holder, he went to Palyul Rinpoche and he did ask some questions.
So
whatever sorts of questions may be been asked by the Kanden throne holder, that Palyul Rinpoche has spontaneous answers for each of the questions. And then, moreover, that Palyul Rinpoche also, asked more questions to him. So then, finally, that Kanden Tiba, he was really surprised and amazed with all his knowledge, and just thinking, how come he is a good scholar just staying in these, caves?
Kangi Garden Treva Lord Yanga Nyeshusun better Zine, the near Treva Dansumba Jervas, the Koriki Kale Desi, I don't dare lot of the Palyul Rinpoche yet Triundi, the Kohana lessons.
So that Kanden Tiba thought, just he had been just studying and being educated since his young age, and then continued for more than 15-20 years, and but still that Palyul Rinpoche has much greater wisdom. So then the Kanden Tiba asked that where did you study it, in which kind of institution?
Palyul Rinpoche ngaso nima pale zoba chimbo se mi gam jere de gam tse de so yela ngaso gam chi tse mare so res.
So then Palyul Rinpoche said, well, we Nimabas, we have something called great perfection, Dzogchen, doing some meditation. So these things are nothing very difficult thing. So that once that experience of those realization just started arising, then this Dharma teaching, even being not taught to oneself, one can naturally understand everything.
Lama chimbo dezo, chepar de doba chimbo nyamsu lendi me teno tonchi, sojung te tonchi noe marde yena, hachung kepa chimbo dezo.
So, in generally, all these Nyingma masters, and especially those, Dzogchen masters, that they not necessarily study very hard, but somehow they are really great scholars.
Chaton pe ngaton denama chindu dio zalungdo, dene dena tonchi chile, dende nyamsolong na, ripi zaka shele, mahloba moba keba reo so, dende sungdo was.
Similar like that, during those teachings in relation with the Tsalung, that it has been explained, if one could do the practice properly, then the channels, all the opens the channels, and one could just actualize with all this knowledge and awareness, and through which one can have all those qualities.
So, Deba, Dong then is on to send it, Junla Yon Tabaji. Thank you.
So mainly that the devotion and then the pure perception and then also the bodhicitta, that which need to be stabilized within one's mind.
Lama le sonde trado se manotap o tende se di tujishin la de ronje la ya di peon tene tanti lenji drobanda ji honji yores.
So with a very sincere and diligently doing the supplication prayer to the Guru, and then once that one could receive the blessing, then the whole complete qualities that naturally can arise.
Ngasi la pema to waji tesam lota o yemi chiba tende tujimba ngasol huchemores.
But somehow we have that such as like the doubts and hesitation and wrong views and not really believing and that which that never benefit oneself.
Wrong so wrong chembo nga chembo yabo indi ba yisam dedi huchembo ngasol yores.
And then at the same time, we have that pride or ego, just thinking, oh, I'm something, just great and qualified and something very special. So that way, when we have a very strong ego or the pride, something like a kind of, a ball of iron, how long we may keep it in the, just water, that not possible that it can just get wet of that quality. So that is why all the time that not having this ego or pride and then always generating compassion, loving kindness and bodhicitta, it is really important.
Naroba ki teloba lama tembares.
Then before that Naropa has his master as a Telopa.
Naropa lame long ten, cheron Telopa lama tendo teni, cheron legend of lama teresung, then the song is.
So then his master that prophesies that you should do just your karmic master is the Teluba.
Then Teluba kana kita lepet rimbo severes.
So then he started looking for Teluba for a while.
The Teluba semitane manieres.
And then somehow he could not really find someone who is called Teluba.
Mama Teloma
Then finally he is also just kind of really tired and then he generally asks, is there anybody existing called Teluba? And then somebody told him that just look at there, that some smoke coming out of that house. There is one who is called Teluba.
Teluba on Yaroba series.
So Teluba, he is just is a kind of fisherman.
They called around the Teluba get Nyat Tomakon Sunju, men of San Sin here.
And then when Naropa went there, he found that Teluba, just having a whole bunch of fish there, and then, get fired in the fire, and then he started eating.
Then he caught Cheki Jason the road, Jason Road serious.
And then he instantly said that, please just take me as your disciple and give me teaching. And then Telva said, well, I am just a kind of ordinary beggar.
Then Telva Sajima Nili Nasu Yamarate Sertin Dandu, what then non-gears.
Of course, Telva, just that eating this fish, not just because of he could not get any other food.
That the name Konyamon Ronan Narobati Kashe Tudu on Sejuris,
So then that Naropa followed with the Telupa, that how he went through just 8 major difficulties or kind of suffering, and then 16 minor difficulties. And within all those time, he experienced that almost he is died. So whatever that Telupa just said to Naropa, he will do everything exactly according to that. And then one time about just a huge high cliff rock, that then if you are following the Lama's command, you just jump down from here. And then he immediately jumped down. And then he is there, even though he is not really dead, but just experiencing so much pain, like almost dead. And then about 3 days later, that Lama came and then asked him, do you have any pains? And then he said, just not just only pain, I'm almost going to die. And then somehow Lama just just blessed him, and then took him with him. Similar like that, he went through like all those 18 difficult conditions. And he never gave any teachings. And then one day they were just making some tea, and then master told that Naropa, you go and get some water.
Then Naropa chuji kuriyate undu telopa koron chalan dilano chele kase kena kojumendu sone gola chuchembo dergares.
So then when Naropa got back the water and just came to the Lama, and then Lama said, how many times I told you, but you never really understand. And then he just pulled off his shoe and hit on his forehead very hardly. And then Naropa just got fainted. And the moment he gained back his consciousness, then he had the equal realization with his master. And that is how these masters and disciples, that in our practice also, where we do these prayers. And similar like that, there are so many stories. Okay. So then today Pemo did all those offering and did go to Birch's activity, and thank you for that. And it is not just only today, just for many years she has been just helping me and sponsoring. And also that in India, our Namduling monastery built a very huge prayer wheels. And also in our monastery there have built one Vajrakileya temple, a very beautiful one.
Guru Rinpoche do o dena tan je ba de lawo to sum sheno de no tember ti be ma se ya boten de.
And also built a very beautiful Tara temple which has 3 stories, and then the Tara statue that ordered from Nepal, and that main Tara, and then the rest of 21 Tara, and then the second floor and third floor also the Gurupam Sambhava, and then the Amitabha Buddha and so forth, that the internal all the object of refuge, the statues, and then the external whole complete the Tara temple.
Today also Guru Rinpoche sondo parjero toso sum truki kam long ki kam chuki kam dena tan de sedon demba ton jenkor tan tone jenkor don dene lone dene jeju soso che lori de sembi tronse ne zonde de dena tan de seri ke topuye ba batin zambolene men sena sechogre de be mase about zoyores.
And not only that, she sponsored to build this Soundoperi, the copper-colored mountain, with the main temple, and then the 3-story where there is the Nirmanakaya Buddha field and the Sambhokaya Buddha field, and then the Dharmakaya Buddha field, and then inside all these whole assemblage of deity statues, and then on the wall all the paintings and the whole complete characteristics, all the characteristics of a pure celestial palace, how it's supposed to be existing according to that, with the all gold plated, just the banners and so forth, everything just built and got completed, something which is, of course, maybe we can say that nothing like existing like this in the world. And of course has spent for me many hundreds and hundred thousands of just the expenses. And herself also normally that she is devoted for Dharma practice. So this time also did good to offering. So Pamo herself and then her family and to all to clear out the obstacle will do prayers. And also have prayers and aspiration prayers that one could accomplish these Dharma practices, and then in the future, next life, one could be just easily go to the Buddha fields. And then, of course, to all our disciples and practitioners, to everyone, I want to thank.
Thank you.
Now the Salon students just stay for the teaching and instruction. Rest you all go to your place to do your practices.